to the ADCC update show here in Flow Studios. This will be one of the last ADCC update shows before the big event itself going down in Las Vegas, August 17th and 18th. With me, as always, we got Uncle Reed over here. We got Sinbad on the desk. We got Joey Scoops. And then special guest calling in, we got the trio of Rochas who are going to be competing at the ADCC World Championship. We got Achilles, Jasmine, and Vagner. How are you guys doing today?
Good.
Doing great, doing great.
We're doing amazing.
Hell yeah. So obviously Achilles just got announced in the 88 kilogram division, and that kind of completes the Rocha family to all be competing in the same ADCC World Championship. I want to start with you, Vagner. How does that feel to just know you're going to have your daughter and your son with you competing, not just in just some tournament or whatever with you, you know, at a Naga together, but at the highest, biggest event in jiu-jitsu history? You're going to have the whole family there. How's that feel?
It's a thing of dreams, you know. It's we've planted this seed in their minds years ago, and we worked towards these goals, and we competed in trials. I believe Achilles and Jasmine probably did over 5 or 6 trials. Jasmine winning the last one, the last trials of the last event to get in, and Achilles had amazing performances in the Brazil and the U.S. Trials. So these guys, man, they worked really hard to get here, to get to this point, and it's, like I said, it's such a blessing to watch them work to get here. You know, not doing it because of me; they're doing it because of them. They have their own goals and their own personalities, and it's just unreal.
For sure. What was kind of the whole family's reaction and your reaction to Achilles whenever you guys got the call and they said that they had a spot for you?
I felt like Achilles deserved the spot as people were falling off with the things that are happening in the sport. I believed he deserved it because of his performances and his tenacity. And Jasmine and I had already been qualified, so you know, I feel like he's, you know, with his performances on Who's Number One and UFC Fight Pass, and also the performances in the trials, he's just a showman. And you know, and our sport is about, you know, entertainment, and ADCC is the biggest entertainment event in the world. So Achilles is meant for this. You know, this is where he's going to shine the biggest.
For sure. Achilles, had you been training and everything? Were you ready to go when you got the call? Was it no questions, just I'm in?
Yeah, no, we've been training this whole time. Like the whole camp they were training, I was training with them on the mat. So I was prepared the whole time, just waiting to get the call, you know.
For sure. Jasmine, you've been helping get Achilles ready. What have you been showing him in lead up to this?
Yeah. He's been showing me too much, actually. He's been showing me some cool, crafty stuff to submit everybody to this ADCC. So it's pretty exciting to get him in and, you know, complete the trio.
Yeah, so
Achilles is sorry.
No, go ahead.
Achilles is one of the more creative of the Rochas here. Jasmine and I are very similar, and he is just something different, out of this world, you know. And you see it in his performances. He does things that nobody does, and he moves like a person that nobody can move like. So his talents is just absurd, and his work ethic and commitment to being, you know, helping me and helping the team that was getting ready, just motivated me even more, you know.
Was this kind of, were you kind of orchestrating things a little bit, Vagner, with the move to 77, back down to 77? Was that? That was to hopefully open up a spot?
I knew this could happen, and when they changed the day before weigh-ins, I felt like I was a little bit small for 88. You know, I competed at 77 more than I ever competed at 88. I felt small for 88, and I knew it would take a little bit of me just, you know, dieting and getting ready. And I asked, I said, hey, if I move down, will you give my spot up to Achilles? And the first answer was no. And then it was, you know, he's definitely on the list, but he's definitely not the top of the list right now. You know, and then, you know, all the moves and people getting hurt and people leaving, you know, it opened up the spot for him.
I was going to ask, you know, what Achilles, what does this mean to you to have the whole family out there, you know, to have the support on the mats. Of course, you guys are you seem like from the outside anyway, a very tight-knit, close family. So do you think it'll help you? Like, just what does this mean to you that you're going to have, the rest of the family out there for your ADCC debut now?
Yeah, no, it's going to be really cool. My whole family, we're all going to be there in each other's corners, rushing, coaching each other. It's just going to be crazy.
Do you feel like it helps you when you have Vagner and Jasmine there? You guys just did this kind of historic feat as well on Who's Number One not too long ago. So, like, did you feel like you learned something from that? Everybody competing at the same time, or does it help you compete?
Yeah, no, having them always there, like everybody in my family, my mom, my sister, my dad, it just always helps, brings the energy and secure the win in my mind, I guess.
Of course, you had that sick armbar, fastest submission in Who's Number One history. That's crazy. Sick armbar on Cameron Couch. Are we going to see more of that at ADCC? Is that the plan?
Potentially not. ADCC, long matches, you got to conserve yourself. But I'm definitely going to put on a show. So.
For sure.
Heck yeah.
So we were talking a little bit before we started recording about just kind of like how historic this event really is. And like obviously LeBron and Bronny gets brought up right now as kind of like a father-son duo. And I kind of mentioned like it's not just equivalent to LeBron and Bronny playing together in the NBA. You guys could go do any event and just compete together at an event, but it would have to be like LeBron and Bronny making it to the NBA finals or to the NBA championship and competing at like the highest level in basketball possible to kind of be equivalent to what's going on with the Rocha family and ADCC, the top prize in submission grappling. Do you guys think there's any other family that's kind of achieved this kind of historic thing in a like a single event in history?
No,
I don't believe so. I mean, I can't put my finger on any family. Even the Gracies, who did so much for jiu-jitsu, they've never accomplished something like this. I don't see in any sport. It's just a weird anomaly on the age I became a father. And the amount of love that these two gathered for jiu-jitsu, because it's one thing for me to be at this level and continue and doing what I'm doing, which is already very abnormal, right? And then the second is having them reach the same level because they're very young. Achilles is 17 and Jasmine's 22. For them to reach this level at this height, to be in the top, of the best, it's God's plan. That's all I can say.
Yeah. It truly is. I mean, a historic thing. It's like, it's awesome to see a family kind of pulling this off, to be honest. I want to go ahead.
Have you been planning it for 20 years then? 22 years?
Yeah.
Have you been orchestrating this, Vagner? Is this the plan kind of all along?
Been plotting.
I am a planner, but all I wanted my kids to do is love jiu-jitsu. I didn't care if when they were little, they were terrible. Achilles and Jasmine both were very, very bad at jiu-jitsu for a long period of time.
Damn, for the rest of us.
Yeah, I never really stressed them about it. I would never be that guy, the dad, the sports dad that sits on the sidelines and, huffs and puffs about how bad their kids are. I would just tell them, like, hey, you guys just got to keep going. Because I knew eventually if you do something for long enough, consistently, you'll get good at it, And I had faith in that, and I just never worried about it. And I always kept them competing because I knew competition would drive them to get better, even though they would lose. And I mean, there's stories of Achilles losing to some kids that are local here that are really good still. He lost like 10 times to them in a row before he ever won anything, And then eventually he started winning and he just started crushing everybody, And Jasmine, the same thing. I never cared about the result. I just cared that they'd show up and they would have fun. And I never wanted them to do it because of me. I wanted them to do it because of them, So the results are now here because of it,
For sure. How's that father-son rolling going these days? Who's coming out on top of the Achilles versus Vagner roll?
Yeah.
I am happy I'm going to 77.
Okay, let's go. Maybe a little bit of a torch passing going on in the
Achilles smirking back there.
Yeah.
You can see it.
Wagner, we've seen you. I mean, you've been part of the ADCC kind of universe for a long time. We've been looking through a bunch of the archives and seeing you in 2015, 2017, 2019, 2022. So you've kind of lived in a lot of the different phases of ADCC. What kind of advice do you have for? Yeah, exactly. What kind of advice do you have for Achilles and Jasmine about their ADCC debuts and what that moment's going to be like, or what they should expect from it?
We talk about this. It's just being in the moment and train, and just have no doubt that their preparation, it was done right. And when you get there, all you got to do is look across and know that that person on the other side is feeling the same thing you're feeling, and you just got to go get them. So they know these kids, man. They've been listen. You're telling me that last trials that Jasmine won, there was no pressure in that? Like, come on, like that's craziness, And then Achilles on that stage on Who's Number One, it's just these kids that live these moments. This is nothing new to them, and they were in 2022. They were in 2019. They've been there. They've seen it. They were front row for 2019, the finals I had.
Wow.
So they know, they know what it feels like, and they understand the pressure that is there.
Wow, Jasmine, do you remember being in the stands there for the final in 2019? What was that like?
Yeah, I do. That was gut-wrenching a little bit, to see him there in front of everybody. I was like, man, this is crazy, but it was definitely inspiring. I think it clicked for me even before that. I remember my first trials going with him, 2017, watching him win the trials. Like, he just went out there and wrecked everybody. It was also my first trials ever. He was like, come on, we're going to go to this event. And I honestly had no idea what I was getting signed up for.
She was 15.
Yeah, I was 15. Wow. And I remember I won my first round. I got wrecked by some Atos girl second round. And I was like, man, I'm too young. And sure enough, that day, Elizabeth Clay had won at 16. Mm-hmm. And I was like, you know what? Maybe I'm not. Like, I can do this, And then came back the next year around trials and beat the same girl that had beat me. And
got to the
finals. And ever since then, it's just been history.
You fight AJ in the final there? Was that what that was?
2017 was AJ in the finals.
Yeah, I remember that. I was going to ask too, Jasmine, I guess, I don't know exactly how the seeds are gonna play out and everything like that, but I feel like maybe you might be the highest seeded Rocha going out there. So I just kind of like, what does that feel like? And has this past year, we've seen so much of you. So I'm just wondering how much you feel like you've really progressed and gotten better over these last year, doing these big trials, tournaments, and stuff like that. We've seen a lot of you. Who's number one?
Yeah, I definitely think that out of all the people in the division, I've definitely been the most active throughout the year. Out of any of the 8 in the division, there's nobody else who's been as active as I have in any format, especially ADCC. I've done a bunch of opens, won a bunch of my weight in open classes, absolutes in these opens, was very consistent at the Who's Number Ones and so many trials. I think I just built up the most experience and the most momentum going into this. It doesn't matter where they seed me. Like, whoever's in front of me is going to have a hard day.
For sure. Achilles, I think you're a guy who, no matter what, has an exciting match. Like, win or lose, it's going to be a sick match if Achilles Rocha is involved. I want to get your thoughts on the 88 kilogram division. You're kind of like a guy who's now just this disruptor who's been placed in late edition, but a dude who could mix up, could upset a lot of people. What are your thoughts on the 88 kilogram division?
I'm not sure if I'm going to get placed as the 16th seed because I didn't really win the trials, and there's other people that are like in the European and Asian trials winners. So I'm not sure where I'm going to go, but, I don't care. Same thing with her. Whoever in front of me is going to have a hard time, and I'm going to put on the show.
If you're the 16th seed, just playing what if, you'll probably have to fight Giancarlo Bodoni, the kind of reigning champion. You have any thoughts on that match?
It's going to be a really hard match for him.
Big smile on everybody's face here.
Yeah,
sure. Let's go.
Looking forward to that one. Okay.
Achilles, if I could ask about a potential match that might pop up at ADCC for you, someone your father has fought, Isaac Michel. Last year, 2022, was the match of the tournament. That could be first round for you, just like it was first round in 2022. Any thoughts on that match and how that would play out?
That would be a fun one. Maybe after the match, I could show him what he did wrong, but we'll see.
lot of
We're in,
confidence. I love it.
Yeah.
I assume you're just taking Wagner's back all the time then.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be real with you. He is definitely the hardest training partner I have in all of our team.
Wow.
It's incredible.
Yeah,
We're in
He's-
a
he's
little
by
bit of a unique opportunity this year in that it's the first year in a long time that we've had a women's absolute division. Any chance we'll see 1, 2, 3 Roaches in the absolute division this year?
Bro, I would love to be in the absolute. I think the absolute is like the coolest thing about ADCC. Like the absolute's like where the prize is, where the hype is. That's where it at. You know, you want to be the absolute winner, and that's it. Like, put me in. You know.
Of course.
yeah. I as long as I can make it through day 2 healthy and I get the job done, I'm always game. I would have done it, the last one, but I got injured in the 3rd place match, and Cyborg, teammate wanted to get in there, and even though now they're putting teammates in the absolute, I mean, God willing, everything goes well. I would love to do that. And again, we don't make that decision. Who they pick is who they pick, but I would love it.
For sure. Achilles, I got a feeling you'd be down for anything, dude.
I honestly got a lot of years. I'll wait for the absolute.
Fair enough.
Whoever wants.
Letting Wagner get his hands dirty a couple more times before Achilles completely takes over. That's nice of you. But I know you guys are kind of crunched on time. I don't want to hold you up too long. I know you guys got strength and conditioning, hard training, getting ready for Worlds. So I guess just any final thoughts, Wagner or family, just what you guys think about this or anything you want to say before you go?
Excited that we have made this possible, and that anybody who truly believes in their potential, and not only believes, has faith, but has work with it. Because I think faith and works go together. Anything's possible. And you see us here. I'm 42 years old, and these kids are 17 and 22, and we're all going to be part of this amazing event, and we're going to be able to go there and demonstrate how much we love jiu-jitsu to the world. And I just want to, besides us, I feel like I'm a winner. Even without winning a single match of this event, I feel like this is a winning milestone for us, because I truly wanted this to happen. This was the event we planned for this to happen. So it's here.
Yeah,
Wow.
It's pretty cool, especially for other families to see this, other families that maybe just train jiu-jitsu, maybe not necessarily compete jiu-jitsu, but as like a family thing, they're like, oh, look at them doing it at the highest level. So it's good, inspiration, for the younger generation to see this and be like, think that it's possible. And I think it's also going to be good for all 3 of us competing, because I know when I see one of them fight, I start feeling that hype and that motivation. I know they feel the same, and I think that's gonna push us to win. I've been saying it, but they don't think it's funny. But nothing's stronger than family. Dom Toretto. That's it. Like we're
right.
gonna go out there and take over.
Got to give a shout out to Mom too. I bet dealing with the 3 of you cutting weight and getting ready for this competition is probably quite a bit to deal with. So shout out to her as well.
Just side on the other side of the camera.
Yeah, she's a piece of our puzzle that most people don't pay attention to. But if you guys know, because you guys have been around for such a long time, we don't travel without the unit. You know what I mean? And we are a very strong family. We have a lot of faith in each other, and we work together consistently to help, push, keep pushing, keep climbing, keep pushing, go next. If one of us is down, the other one is picking us up. If the other one is up, the other one is helping us get even higher, So this is, we are a unit, like Jasmine said.
Well, thank you guys for joining us for a little bit. I know we're all excited to get to Vegas, see you guys all out there on the biggest stage in T-Mobile Arena. So thanks for calling in, and I guess we'll catch up in Vegas soon. So appreciate it.
Yeah, just one last thing.
Yeah.
Make sure you guys are watching us. Get your Tatami gear.
Right. All right. We'll see you guys.
That's
Thanks
the
for
biz.
calling in.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you for having us.
Sweet. There they are. Good people.
That's right.
Folks.
The Rocha fam.
For sure.
That is true. I never see just a Rocha. It is always like multiple. They always are together as like a
always-
family union. Like they say that. Like I've never seen just like one of them hanging out that I can think of.
I can see them on there still listening to us now. You guys can just like, I think, hang up on your maybe or something. I don't know. You don't have to. You can stay and
You
listen.
can stay and listen. We're happy to have the audience.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, we really
Thank you.
appreciate it. Thank you so much.
12
Sweet.
days away, boys.
Yeah, for sure.
12 days from ADCC, Vegas. We're going to be out there. It snuck up, you know. It's like we're kind of looking forward to it for 2 years, and here we are, less than 2 weeks away now.
Definitely, dude. Yeah, and I mean, it is really a historic thing the Rochas got going now.
Absolutely.
All three. It's the same event.
Should be so proud for sure.
For sure. But a lot of people, I'm sure, out there right now training, getting ready, who are excited to descend upon Las Vegas here soon and kind of take over the combat sports capital of the world with all these jiu-jitsu guys out there and have one of the best tournaments. So I do want to tell you guys one story. So for everyone listening, we're going to get into some more bracket prediction. We're going to try and just quickly look through those, see what you're thinking. But I'm a wrestling guy now, all right? Now,
Show it off.
now we have Flow
This guy.
Wrestling here at Flow.
Yeah.
But I think I'm the true wrestling guy now. I mean, I'm wearing
Yeah.
a Penn State shirt,
Yeah.
you know, as simple as that. But I learned a valuable lesson. We went to State College, Pennsylvania, and we met up with Isaac Michelle. He's training out there at Bo Nickel, Jason Nolf, you know, in the Penn State room. So really incredible stuff. And I got this cool shirt because I'm a wrestling guy, you know, hardcore, diehard
We
Penn
noticed.
State fan, all
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
And then it was time to fly home. So I go to an airport. We go to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania to fly out. And I quickly learned you should not wear a Penn State wrestling shirt if you don't want every single person to ask you if you're a wrestler, to ask you if you wrestle at Penn State, to ask for them to tell you everything they know about wrestling and all of that. And I learned that very quickly, and I immediately felt like a fraud. I saw this family boarding the plane, and they were decked out in Rudis gear and just wrestler family to a T, like mom, dad, 2 sons, a daughter. And I was like, man, they kept kind of eyeing me like, oh, is that a wrestler? Is that like a one of us?
Is that Greg Kirkfleet? Or is
Yeah,
that,
yeah. And I get what I look like, an absolute truck house, dude, just 24/7 beast. So I understand. And I was like,
Kyle Snyder over there?
yeah,
Is
yeah. It's like I get the mix up. If I cut my hair, dude, yeah, it could be Kyle Dake.
Yeah.
And I was like, as long as I don't have to sit by him on the plane. And then I am bored, and I look at my thing, and I'm like, damn, dude. Right next to him. It's me in the window, mom, dad, the kids, and they're all like, you know, they're eyeing me. And I go to sit down, and dad's like, oh, you could sit here, but you gotta go best of 3 takedowns with my son first. Good to see you, you know? And they're like, and I'm like, God damn, dude, I'm in over my head. I can't fake that I'm this diehard wrestler guy to this family. And so I immediately go, I'm a jiu-jitsu guy. I don't know. I was just here for some friends. I don't know a lot. But
I pull guard. I pull guard.
But no, they ended up being super cool. So shout out Patrick, Denise, Dennison, their kids, Harper, Kale, and Brock. Kale is, of course, named after Penn State's Kale.
Oh, wow. So they were a real wrestling family.
They were diehard.
Brock and Kale? That's a real wrestling family.
Brock not named after Brock Lesnar. They let me know that. But Kale is named after Kale. So.
Okay.
Yeah, so I texted my friend about that, and he was like, did you just try to fake it? Like you were just this diehard Penn State wrestler, dude? And I was like, no, I didn't, and thank God I didn't, bro. They would have sniffed it out so immediately.
Immediately.
That's a little story about trying to be something you're not. Okay.
Yeah.
And I want everyone else.
Are they coming to ADCC? Are they watching ADCC?
Dude was tuned in. He
knew?
He was super clued in on honestly all the flow stuff. Like he knew Bader and like all this stuff. And he knew about ADCC. He said he'd be watching and all that. He said he definitely leans on the wrestling side. But I mean, this guy was diehard as it gets. He told me he was a subscriber for Flow Wrestling since 2008. Like just like super hardcore.
Okay.
And so yeah, shout out the Dennison family. It was a nice ride. We talked wrestling for an hour and a half on the flight. I loved it. So
You know what? I liked how Achilles was like, nah, I don't talk shit. He's like, I'm the nice one of the
He
family.
started talking shit.
And like every question was just like him immediately talking shit.
Tough match.
I'll show Isaac what he did wrong. Yeah.
No, I don't really talk shit, but like that'll be a hard match for Giancarlo. Like, damn, dude. Okay. Hey, listen, you can't take the Rocha out of the Rocha.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
Come on.
Exactly.
To him, that's not talking trash.
Exactly.
That's like the bar is so different for him.
Yeah.
He's like, no, that was fine. What are you talking about?
He has no idea that that's trash talk. He's like, no, my dad like will say some
way
crazier
worse.
stuff.
Great.
But
My dad will just slowly start reading out your social security number.
yeah, dude. And Jasmine too. Jasmine's getting good at the trash talk, bro. That's someone I would not want a verbal dispute with.
I wouldn't want to fight anybody in the Rocha family for sure.
I'm sure Fafa's probably the mother of the
Yeah,
Rochas
yeah.
is probably
Yeah,
nasty,
whip
too.
your ass.
There's like a grandmother or something that just puts everybody down. Runs that whole crew.
But all right, let's get into some of these brackets. So last episode with Jake Watson, we looked at the 66, 77, 88. We're going to look at under and over 99 and the women's brackets just quickly here. Try to do a little bit of a shorter show today, but remember, these are our predicted seedings of how the brackets could play out. You know, like we try to use our friggin' big brain mathematics, quantum physics. A lot goes into these, honestly. You should, if you're at home, don't even try to do this stuff. It's way too complicated, but
And dangerous.
and dangerous as well. Yeah, so don't try this at home. We're trained professionals. Let's go ahead and pull up that under 99 kilo bracket and kind of take a look here. So obviously, it's like Kynan Duarte, returning champ, gonna get the 1 seed.
Going for his third ADCC title.
Yep. Of course. Joe, you want to kind of talk
Yeah, I believe
quickly,
this is my
just
bracket.
some key points about why you added this. You don't have to go through every single
Sure, I won't go through everything. Kynan, obvious 1 seed, 2-time returning champion, plus 99 and minus 99. Nicholas Marigali, the other returning medalist, won bronze in 2022. The 3 and the 4 were kind of interesting to try to pick out. I ended up going with Lovato at the 3 and Cyborg at the 4 because Cyborg moving down, he medaled in the absolute, but he didn't medal in his weight class. He lost first round last time. Lovato was in the 4th place spot last time, and it kind of avoids certain rematches a little bit better. You have to have Javier Zaruski there at the 9 because of Kynan. But really, man, this is a big 1 and 2 seed weight class in a lot of ways, maybe the most at ADCC. And there was a lot of fun matches. I'm excited to see how the Polish Punisher does, so I put him in there with Cyborg. Pixley versus Gaudio at the 7-10, I think, is a really interesting matchup. There's some fun stuff in here.
You know what I'd kind of like to see just as a fan here is you bump Pixley down from the 10 to the 11, you swap him to Declan Moody. You've got Pixley, Saccone first round, and if Pixley moves through, potentially Pixley versus Lovato, which is 2 just crazy matches for me for two totally different reasons. Saccone is just kind of a firecracker, right? And I think that could be just a takedown battle. And I think you said it on one of our shows recently, whoever ends up on top wins by submission in that match.
So you made bracket predictions as well, Corey. Is this similar to yours?
Similar.
Any key switches?
I think I swapped Pixley out. I might have moved them just down to 11 or up to 13.
Mm-hmm.
But I think we had very similar brackets here. It's kind of built based off of where Kynan goes. Javier has to follow, and then Nicholas has to be the number 2. Lovato and Cyborg also have to be pretty high. And then there's a lot of ADCC veterans in here that have never really medaled. I might have had Gaudio up at 5, but yeah, there's a couple of medalists and veterans in here.
Trattor, former world silver medalist.
Yeah, absolutely. And Trattor's got to be very high as well.
Yeah, there's definitely some fun potential matchups with this one. I think I'm excited to see whoever Michael Pixley gets first round. I think it's going to be cool to see Michael Pixley on that stage, see how he does. Can he rise up to that moment and everything? But a cool one here, Paul Ardilla, Javier Zaruski. Yeah. That's pretty interesting.
Ardilla looking for his first win at ADCC Worlds. He's been a few times. He's had just some really, really tough draws, but he's obviously like a trials monster, and he's a guy that I think is going to stand a good chance to start making some noise in this bracket.
I'll tell you what, too. Wherever you put him, Declan could have a run.
Yeah,
I agree.
Looking at all the spaces he could be here,
right,
he could be
right where he is right now. That's a good route for him.
Yeah,
to be honest.
absolutely.
For sure. Any other thoughts on this one?
I just gonna say I feel like Javier is huge for this weight class.
Yeah,
he was
a
big
boy.
at
He's not
WFL.
like
compared to Paul Ardilla. I feel like he's
Yeah.
huge.
Yeah, that's true. There's a few dudes here who I'm like, damn, when you put all the names up there, like even Cyborg seems
it's
like
Yeah.
a big boy.
Gaudio is a big dude.
Yeah. Obviously, Marigali and Kynan are both huge, but
Yeah, and obviously I think everybody's really excited to see potentially that rematch, Kynan versus Marigali. Obviously, if it would hit, it would be in the ADCC finals, which would make that one just a little bit more important for sure. So, but I think seeing Kynan versus Marigali ADCC finals, man, that gets my palms sweaty. That one's exciting.
Definitely. All right, let's go ahead to keep things moving. We move up to the plus 99 kilo division. See how old Joey Scoops over there got that one predicted.
Let's see what we got.
Oh, it looks like we're looking at the minus 99 again. We got to go over 99 now. But who do you got?
I will say for the plus 99, we have Felipe Pena is my number 1 seed. He is the only guy in this bracket who has won one of these divisions before. I think at the 2, the only other returning medalist is going to be Roosevelt. He placed 3rd last time, had himself a nice little tournament, even though he got tapped by Gordon in the semis. And then from there, I went with what you really have to start to account for here is that you have Luke and Big Dan, who are both like really tough contenders in this bracket. They have to meet no later than the second round. So I did put them together in the second round. I gave them the 3 and the 6 for that purpose. And the other guy who is a former medalist here who I had to put in was Vinny. I thought that even though it's been a few cycles since he medaled, last time he won or he lost first round by injury. He's also going into the Hall of Fame this year, which is cool. I thought the 4th seed or the 5th seed was ultimately going to be the right pick for him.
You know, it's crazy looking at this division, how many of these guys are ADCC veterans.
Tons.
You know, from the top, Felipe, John, Hickey, Vinny, Heisem, Damon, Roosevelt, Honorio, Saunders, Luke Griffith, Big Dan, Mike Perez. It's full of ADCC veterans in this one.
True.
100%. And then there's, just some like weird wild cards. Like I was looking at Mark McQueen's like powerlifting records the other day. Like his all-time like 1-rep maxes are out of this world. He's so strong.
Big strong boy.
Big strong boy. He's a big strong boy.
Perez versus Big Dan, if that hits,
I was happy about
interesting. That's really interesting.
Dude, Perez just being in the mix and plus 99 is so sick. Honestly, there's so many different people you can put Perez with, and it's like, oh hell yeah, dude! Opening up with Perez versus any of these guys.
Isom or somebody.
Yeah.
There's just so many of these matches that would be so fun for.
I don't know how big Mark McQueen is offhand, but he and Big Dan have to be 2 of the biggest guys in this division. So putting Big Dan and Mike Perez, the smallest guy by a long shot in this division, is
Man, but I think that Perez has like a real path to victory against Big Dan. He's so much more experienced. He's so physical. I know that's crazy to say when he's smaller, but like, I mean, we've seen Big Dan lose to smaller guys.
But I mean, like Vince Pizzuto is huge.
Yeah.
Vince is enormous.
Roosevelt is huge.
John Hansen, really.
John
big.
Hansen's a really
All
big
these
guy.
guys are
He's a
big
really
boys.
Honorio is a big
Luke?
explosive
Felipe's looking
athlete
like a
too.
tank these days.
Yeah.
No, I'm actually excited about the potential for Honorio versus Josh Saunders too. Two of the biggest, most athletic people in this division. Like for as big as they are, they move way smaller, way more nimbly.
I think Josh has a great shot to make day 2 and potentially medal. I think that he is somebody everybody should be looking out for in this bracket. I also think that I just want to point out that Felipe, he's going to have those first 2 matches on day 1 and then have to fight Gordon. So it'll probably be somebody like a Brandon Reed, like a Mansour, the Asian Trials winner, and then like second round like a Heike Jusela potentially, and then right into a Gordon match.
Dude, Brandon Reed's a tough dude.
That is
very
tough,
good wrestler.
out.
Like that's one of those where it's like, damn, maybe getting the 16 seed is not always like the best, easiest route. Like that dude probably gonna be scrappy.
It's like no matter what, all 16 are gonna be pretty decent, right?
I think
We talked about like Badoni Achilles a minute ago. Like man, that's no walk in the park.
I think Brandon Reed's been training at Pedigo. He went over to Mount Vernon. He's been with the Daisy Fresh guys, getting ready over there. So that's pretty sick.
You see that before and after post he made a couple days ago? It was like before he started training at Pedigo, or like maybe a couple weeks before, and then after. He looks shredded right now.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Nice.
he looks great shape.
I thought he was gonna be like missing a tooth or something. And that was part of that too. Is like if you have Brandon at because I'm not sure if he's gonna end up repping Pedigo. If I have him at the 16, I'd need John Hansen somewhere in the 8-9.
Gotcha. All right, yeah. So another sick one, obviously. Like we'll just keep
and by the way, great little bracket for Heisem. Not for nothing.
I was gonna say Heisem, yeah, because like obviously he was one of the breakout stars in 2022. Didn't quite materialize the way he wanted it to. So this is a big opportunity for him to kind of right the wrong and get a medal here.
For sure. We'll keep it moving on to the under 55 kilograms bracket. This is the first women's division we'll look at. Obviously, we just talked to Jasmine a little bit ago, so we'll have Jasmine in this one. But what are as they're pulling this one up? What's the thoughts on the under 55, Joe?
Sure. So only one returning medalist. That's former champion in 2019, Bianca Basilio. She will be the 1 seed. I think that's pretty much set in stone. In this weight class, you have 2 sets of teammates who are going to have to face off. Adele Fornerino and Alex Enriquez are both Atos. Maisa and Margot are both AOJ. I know that Adele and Alex don't train in the same room, so sometimes there's some wiggle room they can add there. But I thought just a lot of these matchups were kind of set in stone already, so I put Alex and Adele first round and Maisa and Margot first round, all that on one side. Bianca will likely be getting Brenda Larissa. I feel like we could probably set that one up now. And then that left Anna Rodriguez and Jasmine Rocha. I know they faced off at the ADCC trials, but that's just sort of the way the bracket worked out. I know, rematches aren't ideal, but I think that was a very close match that could go either way at Worlds. I think this is probably something similar to what we're going to be looking at.
That was South American trials?
Yeah, it was a close decision win for A-Rod.
Mm-hmm. What do you think, Corey? How did you write this?
I went a little differently. The 1, 8, 2, and 7 were the same for me, but I had Jasmine and Adele facing first and Alex and A-Rod facing first, just because A-Rod faced Jasmine at the Brazil trials. A-Rod faced Adele at who's number 1. There's a couple rematches that I tried to avoid, but yeah, no matter how this bracket shapes up, like really, I think the matches I'm tuning in for are hoping to see like an A-Rod versus Adele, an Alex versus A-Rod versus Jasmine, Alex versus Adele. So I just kind of threw those things out first. I just think it makes for some interesting matches that we haven't seen yet.
We have previews coming out starting today every day, starting with minus 55. It is really tough to pick up who is the favorite in this division.
Yeah. I guess it's probably got to be Bianca just because she's got the experience, but
even then, it's like, man, we saw her lose twice at ADCC 2022, so I feel like there's definitely some questions there. Maisa is absolutely a killer, but she's small. She's small for this weight class. I know things move from 60 to 55, but she competes at 49 kilos in the gi, so she can clearly like make this with no problem. She's not cutting any weight. I think you can just look at anybody and see just like a red flag or two about why they shouldn't win, but ultimately somebody is going to win.
Yeah, I mean, Bia lost to Brianna St. Marie.
Yeah, bigger people and Mosquito.
So BSM obviously went up to under 65. I think I would say I think Bianca's the favorite. Just obviously anything can happen, but I just think she's the favorite because she is a returning champion, but also it seems like when the division split, and it went from under 60 to under 55 and under 65, like that was beneficial for some girls and it was like hurt some girls. I think it's beneficial for Bianca. Absolutely. I think under 55 is way better for her. 100%. It's like seems like it's going to be a really good weight for her. She's on the bigger end of under 55, but it's like I don't think she's going to have any problem making that, So I don't know. I think
I feel like all these girls have been pretty active recently too.
Yeah.
I do agree that Jasmine has a lot of really great momentum going into this, but honestly, Anna's had some big matches recently. Maisa's had some big matches recently. Margot's on a tear. Adele's had some big matches recently. So like a lot of these girls are kind of like, at the peak of their careers right now, I feel like. So make for an exciting division.
Yeah, definitely going to be a fun division to watch play out. But let's go ahead and move on to the under 65 kilogram division. First time ever having a women's 65 kilo, so this is obviously going to be
an awesome division.
Yeah,
it's a really good one.
Interesting one. Got some veterans and some newcomers kind of in this mix. Give us the rundown, Joe.
100%. Bia Mosquito, former champion at the 1. Brianna St. Marie, former silver medalist at the 2. I ended up putting Helena Cravar at the 3. I think that even though she doesn't necessarily have like the length of resume as some of these girls, she is so successful under ADCC rules. She looked really, really good at the West Coast trials, tapping everybody up to the finals where she beat Mo Black by points. Great wrestling. I have her against Amanda Levy.
Wow.
First round. I think that's not a good style matchup for her, but it's a style matchup we need to see.
Yeah.
They also have trained together. I know. I just think that's the right first round match for Helena to have. If she can pass that test, I think she's off to the races and could win the bracket. Anna Carolina and Orly Laverne, I think, is a really interesting match. We don't see Anna Carolina as often as we once did, but she's still super, super tough. Definitely a threat to win this division. And Brianna St. Marie and Mo Black, I think, is just a super fun match between two really two of the more creative female no-gi grapplers out there.
This division is interesting in like the countries represented and like the potential for a champion to be from a pretty unique country. Like what do we have? We have Brazil. Is Sula like
Great Britain?
UK? Yeah, like Great Britain. Anna Carolina, Brazil. Orly Laverne. Orly's what?
French Guiana.
Yeah, French Guiana, and then Canada, USA. So Weird mix here. We're gonna get a USA Women's Champion. That would be sick.
USA Women's Champ would be sick. Could see our first Canadian champion. First Canadian champion? I don't know if there's been a Canadian champion before.
There's not been a Canadian.
There's not been a Canadian champion. Brianna St. Marie could get over that hump.
Yeah, that'd be incredible. Obviously, Brianna been training at B Team for all of this, so I mean, yeah, it'll be excited to see how she does, how prepared she is, and everything. And yeah, a really cool division. Obviously, it's interesting to see what Helena ends up doing. You know, like being so young, being with New Wave, how she's looked at trials. It's like that's one that definitely has a question mark of kind of how well can Helena do.
If this is the bracket, and she has to beat Amanda Levy, Brianna St. Marie, and then Bia Mesquita or Anna Carolina, like that's a hard road to go. But if she were to come out the winner of this bracket, she's gonna be a star. She already is, but her stuff's gonna skyrocket.
This puts her on track for a Cade Rutolo like victory.
Yeah,
right? It's something like, okay,
I want to see the backflip too from Helena.
Yeah, we know how good you are, but here's the gauntlet you're gonna have to run to become a champion.
Certainly.
Hope Amanda's healthy for it too.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, big time. She looked. She had the knee injury at trials, but accepted the invite. Looks like she's been training hard. Yeah, I'm super excited to see how Amanda does. She is a super threat. To
absolutely.
Division.
All right, let's just keep it rolling with the last division for the women, the plus 65 kilograms division. Joe, as they're pulling it up, what's your?
So I think that there's a clear top four here in terms of seeding. Amy Campo, Rafaela Guedes, Nachieli, and Kendall. And those can kind of go in a lot of different ways, probably. I put Amy as the 1, Rafael as the 2 returning finalists, and then Kendall I have as the 4, and Nachieli as the 3. Nachieli, I think, has had a little bit more historical success. Kendall went 1-1 at the last ADCC, having to pull out after that injury. And then from there, it's just plugging in trials champions who you think is going to make for the most interesting matchups. And I put at the 5 for the trials champions, Elizabeth Mitrovic. She won the toughest trials in the North American. Maria Rafato, I think at the 6 is somebody who's super, super interesting in this bracket. I know Jasmine was really, really high on her after he saw her at South American trials. And then Nia and Nikki, we all know that they're both super, super tough. So this is your women's plus 65 bracket, in my opinion. What do you guys think?
Of this one?
Yeah, it's definitely kind of wide open. I'd say maybe especially for the top 4, but even, Liz Mitrovic, Maria Rafato, Nia Blackman, Nikki, like anybody could shake this division up. I think there's a lot of potential, especially as we get down to the semifinals. Like the way that it's seeded, the 1, 2, 3, 4 really kind of shifts the outcome. Amy Campo looked great in 2022, but she's got a loss to Kendall. Kendall, of course, has a loss to Rafaela. Nachieli has a win over Rafaela. So it really, where the top 4 get seeded matters a lot in this division. If people are going to continue on with their historical success over some opponents, that could really determine who ends up on top in this. It could be Amy, it could be Kendall, it could be Rafaela, it could be Nachieli, or it could be any of the 4 kind of lower half of the division.
Yeah, I feel like all it takes is just like one upset here or one kind of crazy outcome, and it just blows the whole bracket up.
Absolutely.
And literally anything can happen from there. So.
And I think I've got my eyes on especially Maria Rafato too. Really, no matter where she ends up, she's going to end up probably against the top 4, but she could really cause some problems in this division.
Yeah, I think Kendall, Rafaela, both, I think, left ADCC with a real bad taste in their mouth in 2022. And so I think they're both going to be gunning pretty hot and heavy to come back and right those wrongs, especially Kendall. I feel like she's really kind of revved up for this one.
All right, so we pulled one more kind of just complete bracket prediction. Joe put together like a potential, what could the absolute look like for the men's absolute. So we can kind of look at that. Obviously, this one's like, we don't know who's going to be in. I would have really guessed Achilles would want to do the absolute, but...
He's in my bracket.
But yeah, okay, so it does sound though like...
this is
just completely speculative. We have no idea who wants to do the absolute.
This is awesome.
Who they're going to pick, but just like potential of like, what could we see in the absolute? So obviously it's like Achilles is up there, but it sounds like Vagner is going to get the bid.
Just plug Vagner in, have fun with that. And that would be a rematch itself.
Just some incredible potential matchups here. Like obviously, I mean, Mike Perez, Mika Galvao in a potential absolute, like would be sick as hell.
Man.
Whoa.
I will definitely say, if you guys haven't watched yet, we did a watch party with Kenny Florian and Nicholas Marigali, so you can check that out on the YouTube channel. But hearing Nicholas he responded a little bit to Mika's call out on BJJ Stars. Mika talking about a potential match or potential meeting up with Marigali. And it seems like, both those guys, they're not directly saying like, oh, this is what I want or whatever, but it feels like there's some heat there potentially if Mika, things go his way in his category and then he goes into the absolute. Marigali is very confident that you'll see him in the absolute, potentially seeing that match in. I mean, that's all time, dude. Mika versus Marigali in the absolute.
Yeah, that'd be electric.
I felt a little bad. I felt like the top half ended up being a little big guy. That's kind of where I put a lot of the big guys, and then the bottom half doesn't have as many big guys. But man, just like the quality of names. I know we're getting Dante Leone in the absolute, or I don't know, but like it seems like we're gonna get Dante in the absolute. It seems like we're gonna get Pato in the absolute. Fabricio is always in the absolute. Felipe Pena.
I like Felipe Pena versus J-Rod.
Yeah, that's a great match.
That's a crazy match.
You know what else I'd be excited to see is Pato versus Cyborg.
That one's crazy.
It was really cool last year, or 2022, right, to see Fabricio versus Victor Hugo. I think, you kind of look at that match and, well, I was going to say we all know what's going to happen, but then Fabricio went on that crazy run at Polaris where he beat Kynan and Giancarlo, right?
Victor Hugo just a little,
he lost
little
to
too
Kynan.
big
Owen
for
lives
Fabricio.
Yeah.
Just a little too big
But still,
for him.
like ADCC, anything can happen. That's how we have the legend of Lachlan Giles and the
Absolutely.
Marcelo runs in the absolute, right? Guys at 77 can do it, and Dante is a great example of somebody who's been very successful in absolute divisions, and the guys at 66 are starting to get a little jealous, I think.
100%. Something that's going to be crazy that I don't know if it's getting enough shine is Nicholas Marigali is probably going to have to fight Luke Griffith at this ADCC, and that's a crazy match. Those are two of the top five.
They both do the absolute.
Yeah.
If they both do the
it's
absolute.
hard to say like that. It's like it's probably going to happen. I don't know. They could literally just be like, no, Luke, you don't get the bid. We want Big Dan to represent, or Mo could not pick that. So,
But
I don't know.
that is-
anything can happen. That would be crazy.
That's the
It would
fun
be
thing
crazy.
about the absolute division, right? Is they've got like something like 96 athletes to choose from to throw into a 16-man division. So it's anybody's guess who's going to raise their hand. We have some ideas of who might or who we'd like to see, but it could be any of these guys.
Certainly. But luckily,
But we do know. Sorry.
there's no wrong way to slice the pie of the ADCC absolute. Like it's going to be sick as hell either way. What were you going to say, Reed?
No, I was going to say we do know Nicholas will be there, but we don't really know that
Yeah, I
for
mean,
sure. So
yeah.
I mean, we hope, right? We hope Nicholas is in. We hope Mika's in. We hope Dante's in. We hope there's so many. I mean, there's so many athletes that I want to see in this absolute bracket. No matter what, it's not going to be
Chael
everybody, but it's going to be so many of the athletes that we want to see.
For sure. But yeah, I mean, that's the last one we're going to look at. I also just realized as we're sitting here that Corey's got his freaking dogs out, dude. He's just on the show with his sandals.
So,
his
Van
dog's
Askren look.
barking over here, bro. So I think we got to shut this one
I washed
down,
my feet
bro.
before the show
Why'd you do that?
because I trained before the show.
Oh, Corey trained and brought sandals onto our
So,
studio. Yes.
yeah.
Get the camera on these freaking dogs. I see them moving in.
So here's what happens.
What the hell's going on, dude? I can't work in this environment.
I keep my shoes in the back of my
Jiu-jitsu.
car generally.
my
That
God, I've
way,
heard the shoe
when
thing.
I go to train, I can get out.
get Corey's feet off.
We should.
My shoes are already ready for me. I forgot to put my shoes in the car.
I've heard this Corey.
This is the second time it's happened in 3 years.
Yeah, Corey. So for anyone who doesn't know, Corey doesn't keep his shoes like at his house or in his bag. He puts them in the trunk of his car, and then you have like a rotation, right? You
Yeah.
like
I
rotate.
get out of the car,
Corey,
go
he's
to the
got your-
trunk, put my socks and put my shoes on, leave the flops in the car. So when I go back for my second time training
This
the
might
day,
be our, like-
flip flops are already there.
This is going to be our all-time most viewed episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could already find. If we don't use this as the thumbnail, we're really.
It's going to end up somewhere in the internet.
Toes, dude. Oh, don't cut to me after Corey's freaking dogs are barking everywhere.
Yeah, it looks way better if you go back to the.
Yeah. All right. Well.
Can't wait.
Thanks for joining on, boys. Good to talk to the Rocha family. You guys, anybody got any closing thoughts before we go? We're going to be in Vegas on Monday.
Yeah, we're all heading out to Vegas soon enough.
For
So.
sure.
See y'all there.
Yeah, so August 17th and 18th, Las Vegas, Nevada. If you're not on FloGrappling.com right now, if you're not on the FloGrappling YouTube channel, the FloGrappling Instagram, go subscribe to all those, follow us, be on the lookout. We got tons of content coming out this week. We're going to be on the ground next week, linking up with all the best athletes in the world in Vegas, showing some all-access, behind-the-scenes exclusive stuff for what that whole week is like. And then it all comes to the ADCC World Championship, 17th and 18th, T-Mobile Arena. We hope to see some of you guys there. If you see us, come say what's up. Tell us you watch the update show. We'll say what's up. You know, maybe if we got our camera, we'll put you in a video or something. Who knows? But excited to see everybody in Vegas. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time.